Sam Higginbottom University of Agriculture and Technology Sciences. I'm pursuing my MSc in Animal Nutrition from that university. I'm in first year, and I am very much thankful to the organizers of this, training to understand my knowledge and give me a chance to speak here. So my topic is on indigenous knowledge of animal behavior and animal husbandry practices. Before that, we need to have an idea on what are the first animals to be domesticated in India and what are their ancestors, right? So the first animal to be domesticated was considered to be goat, whose ancestor was Bezoar index. So this one right here, as you can see, this is the ancestor of goat in India. The second was the sheep followed soon after, that was Moufloon. This one that you see is Moufloon, and it was domesticated just after the goat. And the ancestors of Zebu cattle with shoulder hump and traditional breed of cattle in India is actually Oruch, which was domesticated normally. We consider it in the Indus Valley. While water buffalo was also domesticated. So these are the main animals of animal husbandry in India, and these were the ancestor of this animals. These are the ancestors. Next, let's read a little bit of biology, because this thing I think that nobody talks about, that the domestication syndrome. We can see this is a pig, Saskofra, but these look totally different. It is the what do we call it? It is one of the trade-off that we have from domesticating. The domesticated counterparts of animals you will always see has floppy ears, smaller jaws, smaller size, lighter coat color. It's because of the feed that we feed. Normally, any animal that we feed, we give them for animals like cattle, we give them pre-cut silage or pre-cut food that we used to give, due to which the jaw are smaller. They are smaller in size, lighter in coat color, and absence of tusk and horns, which can injure any other people or the handler. This was a personal bias at what we say that as a human we had a bias towards cuter looking animals, due to which this happened, as most of the time it was a mass selected thing before domestication. So you can see here, these are their wild counterparts. This is a wolf. You can see compared the snout to the muscle of a dog to a wolf, and this is again goat. You can see that nowadays goats, they do not have that much horns and everything, and again the snout is again longer, even in pigs also. Anyways, let's come to the topic. So first reference that I had to animal husbandry was in Manusmriti, in which it's I'm not going to pronounce the Sanskrit part because I'm very bad in that. I'm sorry, but I can also translate and say that if a cattle attended by the keeper be found in an enclosed field on the roadside or near the village, keeper should be fined 100, but cattle without a keeper shall be driven off. That means if a cattle is grazing, and by somehow the cattle entered an enclosed field, right? Somebody was cultivating something there, and the cattle just entered that field and started eating it. So so if the cattle herder or the keeper of the owner of the animal is around, so the owner will be fined 100. So it's some form of currency. But if the cattle is not found, cattle keeper or the owner is not found, the cattle will be driven off. So you can see in a community, both the safeguarding of crop would be falling under the farmer, also under the owner of the cattle who is destroying the crop also. Okay, the farmer will be there. They will be just checking out if there is any cattle entering the farm, right? So references to Zebu cattle in ancient Indian texts. One of the first thing that I found in Rig Veda is that, first of all, in Artha Veda and Rig Veda, cows are repeatedly praised as a source of wealth and blessings in Vedic literature. And again, I'm not pronouncing the Sanskrit, but the translation of this is, may the cows come and bring good fortune. Let them lie down in our stalls and be cruel with us. Many colored kind. Hello. Many colored kind here be parboiled milk for Indra on many doors. So in here they are praying that may cows come to us and stay with us in our stall, and they bring good fortune. Let them be in our home, in our stalls, and they may be reproduced. They may reproduce, and the milk from them, they may be offered to the Indra, the god. In Artha Veda, I found that the Arundhati herb, right? So the Arundhati herb is a remedy to increase milk yield, used for stopping the release of blood from injury caused by weapon. So it might be that somehow an animal is injured by hunted by some form of anything. So they used to put Arundhati, and it is also very good for fracture. Arundhati also say it is also used as a disinfectant, antibacterial, because it is said that Arundhati makes cow stall, milk, and man free from disease. So these are the texts that I could find in Rig Veda. The first one is in Rig Veda. The second one is in Artha Veda. Next. So actually, I was surprised as I was doing my research. I was surprised to find that in this Artha Shastra by Kautilya, it contains a whole chapter on the superintendent of cows. There is a whole chapter on how the animal in the in the whole kingdom is managed, and I read it like 2 to 3 times, and here are some of my shocking findings. So we all know that we put bells in the dewlap and the neck region of the cows. So why do we do that? Here it is said that the view to scare out snakes and tigers as definite means of knowing the whereabout the herds, sounding bells shall be attached to the neck of the timid cattle. So when the bells are there, it will what do we call it? It will confuse the tiger, it will confuse the snake about where the herd is, due to which the herd will be protected. And that's why even now we have bells on the neck of the cattle. These are some of the animal husbandry practices. When an animal dies a natural death, they shall surrender the skin with the brand mark. So normally in the in the kingdom, the animals used to be registered and used to be marked by branding. If it is a cow or buffalo, they have to surrender the skin to prove that the cow is dead, and together with the ear. If it is a goat or a sheep, it will be the tail and the skin containing the brand mark. If it is an ass or a camel, the skin. If it is young one, so when a young one means 1 or 2 months, less than 1 or 2 months old, Before that, branding was not carried out because it might be that calf mortality used to be very high. So if it is a young one, besides the above, so they have to restore the skin, they have to restore the ear, I guess, the fat, the bile, the sinew. Sinew is the connecting material that we have, which connects muscle to muscle, or it connects the ligament to muscle. Okay, it's a connective tissue that is found under the skin. And teeth, hooves, horns, and bones, to figure out that this is the only calf. Okay, so see, in here they also said, as we know that the India's climate is hot and humid. They have said that during the rainy autumn and the first part of winter, where the temperature is cooler and the animal is actually less stressed, so they say that the milk, the cattle must be milk both times, the morning and the evening. During the latter part of the winter, where the winter says the cold stress is more, and spring and summer the heat stress is there. Okay, when the heat stress is there, they shall only be milked once. So they take care about the animal's welfare also, about the if an animal is comfortable or not also, they take care of that. And what is the penalty of milking a cattle twice in summer and winter? It is said cow herd who milks a cow second time during this season shall have their thumb cut off. Simple. They have a penalty for everything. One drona here in this verse, we see that how much milk will produce how much butter. So 1 drona of cow's milk will, when churned, yield 1 pasta of butter. Same quantity for buffalo's milk will yield 1/7 more. And the same quantity of milk of goats and sheep will produce 1/2 more. So it also gives us gives us an idea about the fat percentage of the milk that we have. Next is something that I found very curious, because right now it's happening that soil must be fertile to have good milk. That we last year I was doing a lot. So in all kinds of milk, the exact quantity of butter shall be ascertained by churning. It will remain the same. So milk, the butter will remain the same. For increasing the supply of milk and butter depends on the nature of soil and quantity and quality of fodder. If you do not have good quality of soil in which you are putting the fodder, in which you are cultivating the fodder, then the nutrients from the soil will not go to the fodder, and from the fodder the nutrients will not go to the cow or the cattle, due to which there will be a loss of milk fat. So here that is what it said, that the supply of milk and butter depends on the nature of soil and quantity and quality of fodder and water. So let's talk about the tax system also when we are talking about economics a little bit. He who sells his cow from among the herd shall pay to the king 1/4 of the value of the cow. So if you are selling the cow, 1/4 shall go to the king as tax. And again, this is another sheep and goat and other animals which are used for their fur and their wool and everything. So once in 6 months, sheep and other animals shall be shorn of their wools. And this one is that population control and breeding. A herd of 100 heads of asses and mules must contain 5 male animals, and that of goat and sheep 10. So if you are having a goat and sheep, that is 100 animals, you should have always 10 males. And a head of 10 heads of either cow or buffalo shall contain 4 males. So 40% of the herd should be male. Next, in animal husbandry, one of the biggest role of ration formulation of diet or ration is one of the biggest thing that animal husbandry is relied upon, which I found in this Arthashastra, is that this is the whole what do we call it? It is the whole prototype of the ration that is supposed to be given on to an animal, depending on the work it's doing. So for bulls which provide no strings, equal horses in speed and carrying loads, about 10 kg of meadow grass, 10 kg of ordinary grass, about 4.8 kg of oil cakes, about 32 liter of barn, about 240 grams of salt. So whenever I go to the villages and I say, do you feed your cows salt? They never then say that no, we don't. But in Arthashastra, it is written that we should feed salt to our cows. About 200 to 250 ml oil for rubbing on the nose, because we are talking about nose strings, so it should be there. And about 0.8 liters of drink, about 4.8 kg of flesh. Yes, this is the translation I got, that 4.8 kg of flesh, 1 tula, about 3.2 liter of curds, about 12.8 liter of barley or cooked manna, and everything is there. And one of the thing that I found is that about 1.6 liters of soda, which is a liquor. So they are feeding that to an animal. Back then, there was no mineral mixture that we could feed to the cattle, mineral mixture or premix. So this is how they used to, make sure that all the daily requirement of the cattle was fulfilled. This is how they used to make sure. And I was actually shocked when I read this just around 1 week ago. Next, indigenous knowledge of animal husbandry. So in India, majority small holding farmers. So investing in a big animal like cattle, it's like if you invest in a bad cattle, it will bring financial collapse. Or if you have bad animal husbandry practices, it will bring financial collapse over the family. So due to this, this is another textbook. This is a Khonar Bochon, in which Dr. Sandeep Banerjee has talked about Khona, who she was. She was a very well-educated woman. She was also an astrologer, and she gave us valuable information to the farmers, even when there was no concept of modern agriculture. There was no concept of modern animal husbandry practices. Even then, I feel shocked to find out the way her talk actually coincides with the animal husbandry that we follow right now. So I'm not well versed in Bengali, so I'll just give you the farmer who eats his fill but ignores his cattle, whose cow get no grass and water, his fields will yield and he will suffer. So if a farmer is not feeding his cow, of course the cow will go into stress. Of course it will not give yield, and the next, because they would not have that many cattle, right? They would have around 1 or 2 cattle, and if they are not even feeding to those cattle, he will have later on his cattle will be weak and they will not give milk or give calf and reproduce, and he will suffer. So in here Khona is saying, they please take care of your animal, feed your animal, give adequate ration to your animal, which again Chanakya said in Arthashastra. Whoever takes up the plow on a full moon day, his sorrow is for all time. His bullock get bathed. Bath in Bengali we say, disease or ache, or we consider that as arthritis. It's some form of muscle ache, and his house there is no rice. So when I was reading this, I could not understand why full moon day. I know that many people complain that their pain actually intensifies during the full moon day, but there is no scientific evidence for that. As it was rebuked, many researchers had rebuked it. So when I thought about it a lot, so I found out that before, before the civilization, before all this light and modern electricity, full moon night used to be as bright as, not as bright, but it used to be brighter, right? And we could see a lot of things. So if a farmer uses that animal in the day as well as at the night, because he can see, and he might think that let's go and plow the bullock at night also. So naturally his bullock will get disease and ache, and there will be, that bullock will not work the next day. So this is why it's said. Now this one is, first pull/test the heavy hind part, then after examining, bring the cow home. So this one says that when you are going to the market to buy a cow, always look at the hind part. Okay, and this is so much important in agriculture. We see body condition score. Even in dairy capacity, udder is given around 40% of weightage, right? So in here, the traditional knowledge says that always look at the hind part of the animal, of the cow. So we all know what body condition score is, and only then we should bring the cow home. Another one is about cruelty to the animal. If one raises the hand on the cow's back, afterwards he does not get even a little rice. So it is a form of if you are being cruel to the animal will get into a stress, and it will not produce that much, and it will kind of try to run away and everything. You should never be cruel to the animal. And this is another one. And the last is, if a girl or a woman tends the cow, milk flows in streams. In traditional animal husbandry and management, you will see that all the women of the house are doing all this management, milking, bathing of the cattle, and everything are done by women. So in here it is said that if a girl and woman tends to the cow, the milk will fall in streams, because women have a very natural, motherly touch to their way of management. So this is why even now in villages, you will see that girls are attending to the animals. So, and the last is, there are bullocks, yet he does not plow. His sorrow lasts 12 months. So if a farmer has a bullock and they are not plowing the land, his sorrow will last throughout the year, because he's being lazy and he's not working. That is it for me. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this